Hey, it's me, Destiny Brandt, founder of It's Destiny Sales Recruiting, and hopefully you're a recruiter. I wanted to make a video today about resume and LinkedIn and how to put your best foot forward in your job search, whether that's proactively or reactively. The first rule is both your LinkedIn and your resume need to match. So make sure they match. Most executives, recruiters, and VCs are relying on LinkedIn to even find you. So we'll talk a little bit more about LinkedIn and optimizing that, specifically using product-based keywords. So on your skill section, so typing in DevOps engineering software, human resources software, infrastructure software. That way, when people are putting in those keywords, your name actually shows up. So make sure that you are using keywords in your skill section as it relates to stages of company and product-based keywords, just to get the type of visibility that you need. But both resume and LinkedIn do need to align. A good resume and a good LinkedIn are essentially a math equation. How many activity points? What are your metrics? How do you break down those metrics through literally all channels, internal, external? What about your conversion rates? How many meetings? At what deal size to get to quota? There's lots of other things that I encourage candidates to have on both their resume and their LinkedIn, such as were you having any SDR support? Were all these deals self-sourced? Were you doing anything as it relates to building or designing or co-developing or generating different aspects? Making sure that you mention things like your ICP, your vertical, the stage of company even, and what it did in the disclaimer. But really a good resume and a LinkedIn should have a bunch of numbers that essentially are speaking to the highest level decision maker, who is the one who makes these quotas or makes these goals. So list out all of your activity points, list them specifically, what function of that job was that, and essentially you should have a bunch of numbers. Everything should relate back to the quota. What is your activity to get to how many meetings to get to what quota? Who are you selling to? What were the industries? What were the territories? Who were you selling to? List out all of those personas. Otherwise, if someone is seeing your LinkedIn or your resume, they may not know, are you mid-market? Are you enterprise? Obviously, there's a huge difference between a $3,000 deal size and a $35,000 deal size. What about your sales cycle length? So make sure that you have numbers that really tell a strong story of how you got to quota or how you have the activity or intentionality for a top performer. I encourage people, when you're writing a resume, to study job descriptions, to go out and put account executive, founding account executive. You don't even need to use the industry filter sometimes. Or let's say you really romanticize managing somebody's kids and you want to put sales development manager or chief revenue officer. If you put those prompts onto your LinkedIn and just whenever you are feeling like it, you start opening those up. If you open up 5, you're going to notice that 4 literally say nothing, and you're still going to wonder, what does a chief revenue officer do? Or what does an AE do? But for every few that you open, you're going to go, they've really oversold it. And those are the ones that you want to copy and paste those line items of that success measurement and start reverse engineering to be examples of how you've actually done that. So beyond your numbers, your conversions, and the things that I talked about, in order to get really good language as it relates to that exact job, study job descriptions, and then save some of the line items, put them on your resume, and then start giving specific examples as it relates to that. When it comes to numbers too, a lot of people like to speak in percentages, and that is kind of vague. So the goal is to tie it to closed won, which resulted in 12,000 MRR for a 36-month contract, X million dollars. That way you are talking about how it relates back to the company and to the business, instead of all these percentages that not a lot of people can track. I also encourage candidates to build out some sort of media on their LinkedIn. We have files somewhere out there on our website, or if not, you can find them featured on my own LinkedIn. What is the problem? What was the design solution? What was the result? So beyond your numbers, you can start thinking, well, what were some of the issues or the things that come up in an earlier stage startup, right? Mismanaged territory, low conversions, lower deal size, longer sales cycle mix, legal bottlenecks in legal. Then we come to my second point beyond having good numbers on your LinkedIn and your resume, which is the energy, the tone. The way that you describe yourself on your LinkedIn and your resume is very telling to who you are, how you think, and your type of energy. So a lot of people will use words like managed and assisted, and it's giving order taker, it's giving tired. So you want to use words like designed, pioneered, implemented, co-developed, built, to really give the energy expected in late stage capitalism and to really be considered a bar raiser. So on this slide, you can have kind of the problems or the issues or the things that came up just in your sales environment or in the environment you were part of. What did you build out to survive another day, to make things better? And then what was what was the impact back to the company as it relates to closed won, 12,000 MRR for a 36-month contract. That way on your LinkedIn profile, you have the breakdown of some of these numbers and then the energy and the pillar words that you are using to really give your action items and the impact that you made within a company. So as a general recap, there's kind of two things that people are looking for. Both of them have in common, both your resume and your LinkedIn need to be as closely aligned as possible, especially knowing that people are going to look at LinkedIn first and then look at resume second, making sure that you have numbers, breaking down those numbers as much as possible by potentially using the problem design solution slide that we had talked about, and then making sure the words that you are using really give energy, really give impact, really give bar raiser, because the tone of how you describe things are just as important as your numbers and conversions. If no one's told you today, you're doing an amazing job, and I'm so beyond proud of you. Don't forget to drink your water. Cheers to you.